In today's video, we're talking Yelena's future in the MCU, the post-credit scene of Black Widow. Come on inside.
What's up, everybody? We are the Jersey Comic Crew. Rob and Chris here. We're talking Yelena's future in the MCU thanks to that Black Widow post-credit scene. Now, guys, if you haven't watched the Black Widow movie, this is your spoiler warning. We're talking about, obviously, what happened after the movie, the post-credit scene, and probably what happened in the movie. So go ahead and watch it before you continue with this video. And, guys, before you continue, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Do all the YouTube things that we need you to do to keep growing and make more content for you just like this today. So, Chris, that post-credit scene, we talked a little bit about it in our review, which is coming out later. But I had to talk about this separately because it's like, it's so heavy, and it's such a simple, short scene, right? We see this is future, present day in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yelena visits Black Widow's grave, the same location where Black Widow's true biological mother was buried, who's fighting to get to her. And then we see the one and only Valentina, Chris. And then immediately, I'm sure you were the same way. I'm jumping, I'm hooting, I'm hollering, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, what does this mean? And apparently they're working together.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. So we kind of had a hint that Val might be in this movie. There was this nice hint that, you know, we were supposed to see her in something prior to Falcon Winter Soldier. Everyone kind of thought it was, you know, Black Widow, but we weren't sure. So, guys, we saw Valentina back in Falcon and Winter Soldier. And if you don't remember, Valentina is very X-Shield, very, you know, in-depth Marvel Comics. She's someone who is in-depth, kind of making her own team. She was Madam Hydra for a bit. Then she was, you know, that was really kind of fake. She was faking it. So we don't really know the scope of Valentina's presence in the MCU right now. We know she's a major player. We know she has a lot of connections. And we know she's building something, right? We know she has John Walker now. He's the new U.S. agent. And clearly our first major point of this video is that her and Yelena are clearly already working together because Yelena says to her, you know, something along the lines of like, you know, don't bother me on my time off, Valentina.
It seems like she's making her own rogue Avengers team. So like it could be maybe Thunderbolts, but Thunderbolts is more like supervillains turn good. This could be Dark Avengers.
Maybe.
Which is seeming very possible with another Black Widow, with U.S. agent and like a darker, more grittier Captain America, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That could be a possibility, but I'm kind of interested to see and delve into what is this relationship right now, right? Is Yelena out recruiting people for her? Is she out assassinating people? Or is she, like, what do you think Yelena's role is at this current time? So this is obviously post-Endgame. This is, you know, presumably the year 2024, which I think is great that it's in the future so we catch up to the Marvel Universe.
Correct.
So we obviously know Natasha Romanoff is dead. She died in Endgame. You know, Val comes up and does that hilarious, like, blowing her nose obnoxiously loud next to her. And she's like, you know, literally first line, don't bother me on my time off, you know, Valentina. That is a familiarity. That means she's clearly working for her. Do you think it's something along the lines of like, hey, she's just picking people off to help Valentina do what Valentina needs to do? Or is it kind of like a recruitment thing because we saw Natasha recruit the Hulk in Avengers?
So like you said, like it could be one of the two, right? She's going out to kill people or she's recruiting people. And the reason why she could be recruiting people came into mind, right? It's like she said your next target. I'm like, oh, assassin. We saw Clint, right? And she's like, this is the person responsible for Natasha's death, right? Yeah. And like our instincts are to go towards she's gonna try to kill him, right? But I'm like, maybe not. Maybe she's trying to recruit him because Hawkeye in the comics has been on multiple teams. Real world life. You ever heard anything about Jeremy Renner planning to leave the MCU, right? So maybe he just shift the teams to more darker, more grittier stuff, right? More realistic on this quote-unquote Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers team, whatever they're building together. And Avengers are more big and bombastic, Mr. Fantastic. That right, I didn't even intend that. That's awesome, right? And like Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like I could believe that she's going out to recruit Hawkeye, right? It had a strong connection with Natasha. I don't think it's to kill Hawkeye. I don't really foresee that. I could definitely see the next target try to bring in Hawkeye because Hawkeye went Ronin. She knows of Ronin, right? We know Hawkeye went on a murderous spree in Japan, taking out people. Something that fits the profile of a Dark Avenger, right? So I can see that. And then also we get the fact that like she's gonna learn the truth about Hawkeye's past and like her connection with Natasha, see all that kind of stuff playing out. Maybe this is in like the Hawkeye show. You know, Hawkeye sets up in the Hawkeye show a new protege to take on the Hawkeye mantle. Maybe because that's he's fully embracing the Ronin mantle and going to the Dark Avengers, and he's dealing with Yelena doing all this kind of crazy stuff.
I think there's a couple avenues, and I think there's one big one that you haven't asked either, which is
lovers? Maybe
no,
lovers.
not at all.
Okay.
I think the biggest question I had once she kind of showed Yelena the picture of Clint is, how does she know? Right? How would Valentina know about Clint and Natasha on a different planet and her dying during a time where half the planet was blipped away?
How did she know that?
How would she know?
Only the Avengers and the Guardians, right?
So does Valentina have a connection with someone on the Avengers that's giving her information? Does Valentina have some connection, maybe like a Thunderbolt Thaddeus Ross? Maybe Thaddeus Ross is building up this Thunderbolt team with Valentina. We know Thunderbolt Ross is a big part of it. Possibly Red Hulk future. We don't know.
I think... Oh, God.
But I think there's a bunch of implications right now of, number one, how does she know? Because that's not kind of widespread information, right? Yeah, he's responsible for your sister's death. I did not see Valentina on Sakaar, or whatever planet, what planet it was on, you know what I mean? Like, for the Soul Stone. So, like, that to me is a massive question on top of, I totally think she's going to try and kill Clint, because, come on, she has to. It's going to be a great fight. And until he's going to be able to explain, hey, this is what actually happened, and hopefully get her focused on something that him and Kate Bishop are now going to be fighting against.
I could definitely see her going to recruit him, but then she can't. She just wants to kill him, and that's it. That's what she focuses on.
I think she's going killing first. It's her sister, man.
No, but do you think Valentina set her to kill him? Or do you think Valentina set her to try to recruit him?
I think it's implied. I think it's implied that this is the person responsible for your sister's death. She didn't say this is the person that killed your sister. I think it's implied that you're an assassin, you're a widow, here you go. It's on a silver platter, you're at your sister's grave, you're clearly upset. It's two birds, man. Like, you gotta, I think it's gonna start off with her going after him, trying to kill him,
so
and he's gonna explain what actually happened.
I don't think I could agree with that, because I think Yelena, after dealing with her sister, knowing that she's a hero, I don't think she's just going to go become a killer for hire again. I think she's going to try to do good. I think she's changed and evolved. I don't know if I can agree with that.
But I agree. I think she's going to try and kill him for two reasons. Number one, the biggest theme for Yelena was taking control of her life in this movie, right? Mm-hmm. This is the first time I made my own decisions. I could buy my own clothes. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. Where do I go from here? Her working for Val, I think in her mind, is a good thing. She's doing, anything better than being a mind-controlled killer assassin is going to be a plus. If you're killing people for the right reason, like, that stuff doesn't go away, right? Natasha was doing it for S.H.I.E.L.D. for years. She was still taking people out, right? So I think Yelena right now is, I had my moment with my sister. Now it was taken away, and this is the person that's responsible, and that relationship can't continue. She's definitely going to go after him. She's not going to kill him, but she's going to go after him.
All right. Last question I have for you. Is she the new Black Widow? What I mean by that is she going to take up the name, the moniker of Black Widow, or is she going to be White Widow? Is she going to be different? Do you think she takes on that name?
I think she's White Widow. I don't think there's going to be another Black Widow.
I agree.
I
don't think they're going to do it. I think it's going to be like an Arrow situation. Instead of a Black Canary, it's going to be a White Canary. I think they're going to separate it, and she's going to be her own individual character.
Yeah, and in the comics, Yelena is the White Widow. She's known as the White Widow, and her white jumpsuit and all that stuff, like, that's her moniker. I don't see why they should deviate from that and force the Black Widow moniker on her. I think, that's Scarlett's role. She closed it out the way she wanted to do it. And it's been her role for over 10 years, and I think she was badass in it. So I don't think you need to kind of take that away from Scarlett either. And you don't need to put kind of the unnecessary pressure on Yelena to be her sister, right? Yelena has the right to be her own person. I think Yelena's characterization from what we saw in Black Widow was awesome. She was one of my favorite characters. I'm really excited to see the future of this character too. And I think there's a possibility we may even see her. Who knows? She could be in Shang-Chi. She could be a part of this tournament. Who knows, right? We saw Abomination. We saw Wong. Why not throw a Widow in there as someone who has crazy fighting skills? So I'm really interested to see this like DBZ style tournament of the best in like a cage match to the death. It's like totally 90s wrestling.
I think that'd be really cool. So, guys, we want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think is Yelena's future in the MCU? Is she going to go recruit Hawkeye? Maybe go kill him? When are we going to get these answers? Let us know.
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like, really helps the channel out a lot. If you're brand new, subscribe and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss anything else from the MCU. We know a lot's coming at us. We're going to be covering it right here on the channel. Follow us on our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the Jersey Comic Crew. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We're the Jersey Comic Crew, and we'll see you next time.